What's up, world, and welcome to episode 1 of the Players Club Garage. I'm Jesus Castro. I'm your host today, one of the founders of the Players Club Garage, basically. Today, for episode 1, we decided to do a walk around the garage so you guys can get an idea of what and how we do things around here and what tools we use, because I know we get a lot of questions like that on our social media accounts. So we'll do a quick walk around the garage, we'll go over a couple small things, and then we'll head outside and we'll talk to some of the guys that are on the team and talk about their builds. So first of all, number one thing, obviously you can see behind me, we got our Players Club banner. Of course, you know, we always love to take this everywhere we go. Every time we go to a car show or a meet or something, it's just something that we're very proud of, the name and how the brand has eventually gotten to where it's at now. Downstar, of course, big shout out to Frank. He's a big supporter of the Players Club Garage, and we use his product on everything that comes in this place. From engine hardware to suspension hardware, you name it, we got it. So I figured we start over here. We come over here to this corner of the garage. Everything you see here on this cart, so to say, this is pretty much all of our bodywork material. You guys have seen us do engine bays. You see us doing bodywork on like the undercarriage of some of the cars, and this is where it all starts. Believe me, guys, we're not professional painters. We don't mess with paint. That's not our forte. But we are okay and we are confident in our product as far as getting the bodies ready for paint. So that you see here, we use a lot of the demand product. That's pretty much one of our favorites to use as far as body filler goes. We do have some of the Everco products here. We got the sandpaper, of course. I guess that's pretty much about it as far as that goes. We'll start. Let's just go this way, actually. So here we just got our basic supplements as far as fluids go. Of course, we got brake fluid, power steering fluid. We don't really go through this stuff much because of, let's be honest, these cars are being built, they're not being maintained. Sometimes you got to use some spray paint once in a while to get a couple things cleaned up as far as like daily projects go or customers' cars. So that's that. As we walk this way, obviously you see the motors that we're building. I won't go into too much detail with these because, let the guys talk about their motors, right? That's their cars, that's their product. And we'll just let them talk. We'll just keep that aside and talk to them later. So over here is where all of the tools start to basically come up. You see a little small pile here of parts. This is basically where we lay parts when they're ready to head over to either the body shop. A lot of the stuff heads over to the chrome dipper down in Tucson, Arizona. And here we got some trailing arms that have already been body worked and smooth. I think actually those are going on Jose's car, again, which you'll meet later. And some parts over here for Nick that also need to get painted. In this toolbox here, there's not much as far as big tools that we really use a lot. A lot of this stuff is what we use for body work. We got to use hammers to get out dents, things of that nature. We have a lot of tape, again, to take things off when sometimes we got to spray paint them. But anyways, yeah, this toolbox isn't really used for much, as just a couple supplies here and there. Normally we have a welder here. It's out getting repaired right now. We had a little mishap with the welder, so that's where that normally is at. From here, this is one of the workbenches. This is where a lot of stuff gets done, of course, that we got to put on a bench. We got the vise. We got multiple chemicals here as far as cleaning. Degreasers. Degreasers are a really good product to use when you're either cleaning parts up before they get sent out to get painted or chrome dipped. We also use them to clean up some of our body work. It's a really good product to use to keep on hand. From there, I guess that's really about it. We use our Super Street magazines and classic Honda tuning magazines to definitely keep us motivated. There's times where we run into a problem. I wouldn't say a problem, but just kind of like a spot on one of the cars where we are kind of stuck on what option to go with and which way to go. So of course, naturally, some of our personal favorite builds of all time are in the Honda tuning magazines or in the Super Street magazines. We pull one of the magazines out and we go back to those favorite cars and we get the ideas back again, and we kind of rejuvenate our mind basically about the process and the product of what we're trying to complete. So of course, just like everybody else, we are sad that Honda tuning is no longer available. on a hard copy like that. Big thank you to Chronicles, Sticky Dill Joe. We're his biggest fans. We love everything that Joey Lee does and all the information he gives out to us, and we'll talk a little bit about that later. So moving on, we got the big box here. This is of course where the majority of the tools are. Again, another workbench that we use for lighter work. When you open up the box, of course we have all the sockets, we got all the extensions, we got all the guns, everything we need to make the job easier. There's no better way of building a car, working on a car, putting a car together without like the best tools. Having all the tools, all the specialty tools that we need to install certain products, it does wonders for us. Even this box here, this specific drawer, this is where we keep all of our pipe bending tools. This is where we basically bend all of our hard lines that you guys see on social media that we do, flare, all the flaring, everything. And then from there, again, just all the tools that we need really just to kind of keep the builds going. You can never have too much ratchets. That's kind of my model there. So we got all that, screwdrivers of course, everything as far as cutters go, all the interior tools that we need to make interior removal so much easier and cleaner. These tools here help us remove interior panels without breaking them. Sometimes, of course, some clips are broken in the process, but this helps us, eliminate that as much as possible. And then from here, again, we need this kit more than anything, right? Doing all the Downstar hardware, this is where we grab all of the tools and sockets for that. And then down here we have all the air tools that we need. As far as guns go, we got some grinders and some wheels, impacts. And then down here, I like to call this the break everything drawer, whether it's a hammer, a cutter, a grinder, a drill, anything in here is gonna break something loose or ruin something, right, as soon as it touches it. So that's that. Over here, as we move forward, there's another box. This is where we keep a lot of our sandpaper products for all the body work that we do, all the hardener. We got certain blocks here to help us with all the sanding. And all the cutting wheels, again, the wire wheels and some of the rust remover wheels that we have. This helps us get the car down to bare metal when we're starting the body work. We got safety glasses, of course, every team needs that, right? From here, we go up. This is kind of like we'll just call it like a little media station. The iPad basically controls all the music in here. Guys, this garage is always just loud, bumping music. We have our own special playlist that we keep on, has all of our favorite songs on it, keeps us motivated, keeps us up to beat, keeps us hype. That's what the iPad does here, and that's all linked to a subwoofer, and just the whole garage is consistently is out of control. It sounds like a party all the time. From there, we have the Mac Mini that controls all of our social media stuff, I guess, as far as mainly YouTube. Estevan Noriega, as you guys will meet later on in the episodes. He's our media guy. He's the one that sits here, and he basically puts our YouTube channel together for us. And what's cool about it is, even though it's media stuff, it's still in the garage. He's still in here with everybody. Of course, if he's not helping us with one of the cars, he's in here editing a video, and it's nice because we can actually see the video come together while we're working on a car, and he can always get our input on if we like this, if we like that, and it makes it real nice, makes it simple. So it's kind of one of my favorite features of the garage. From there, basic stuff, compressor, of course, we need. We have multiple lights here. It does get dark in the garage sometimes at night where we can't necessarily see everything. So we do have some pretty cool monster mobile LED lights that we like to use. We always keep those things plugged in because we use them a lot. Normally we have a polishing wheel in here where we polish all our parts, but we've been using the wire wheel a little bit more. We got a sink, of course, gotta stay clean. We got the trash cans, we got the engine hoist, we gotta get engines out sometimes. And then we have the coolers. Guys, it's 120 degrees here sometimes in July, August. It already puts a bearing on us to even come out here and even get on working on these cars. And when we do, we just need as much cool air running through here as possible. So that's why we have this cooler here. We have another cooler down there. It helps greatly. So shout out to whoever invented the coolers. We needed them ASAP, and they're awesome. They push a lot of air out to us. We got a hood here for Jose's car that we're still contemplating on putting on his car or not. Some of you guys may know this is my personal build. This is the ultimate goal. As far as Project Frosty goes, this is what the final product is going to look like. And that I keep that up there for motivation. Every time I get down or something doesn't function right on the car, something doesn't happen right, I just look at that and I just know at the end of it, it's going to be worth it. So from here, we'll move over to our whiteboard. This keeps us pretty much in line as far as what to do next, what's the next step for each of the builds that we have going on. Now keep in mind, these 3 builds here, we have Jose's EK, we have Nick's EK Coupe, and then we have Blind, which is Project Frosty. These are the main 3 builds that we have going on right now. We do have other builds in process right now that we really aren't ready to show off yet because they're moving at a slower pace, and that's okay. So we keep these 3 up here just to remind us what's the next step as far as what to do on the car and what parts to buy. Once something gets done, right, we clean it off and add the next thing there. So very important piece of the garage. Moving down just a little bit, big thank you to Race Ramps who actually got us taken care of and setting these up, these race ramps up for us. We use these all the time. If my car's not on it, Jose's car's on it. If Jose's car's not on it, Nick's car's on it. We're very grateful for race ramps, and we are in the running in the future for my car to actually be in their booth for SEMA 2019, using their product, debuting the car, all that good stuff. So again, we got the big cooler here. This is the one that produces the most air. This is our favorite of the 2. And then last but not least, we have all of our Chemical Guy products. So again, we're big fans of Chemical Guys. Their products are amazing. When we have to clean something up, or even our own daily driver cars that we just drive every day, we have all their products here to keep everything clean, especially when some of our parts have been either powder coated or painted. These are the essentials we need to keep that stuff maintained and keep it clean while body filler, sand is getting all over it. Sometimes parts get scratched. I mean, that's just the reality of it. This stuff helps us keep it maintained and clean and 100%. So that's pretty much it as far as the garage goes. We do have other places that we work, that we do get stuff done. There are certain tools that don't necessarily fit in the garage, so we like to keep that at other places, which is nothing important. Everything that we do, guys, is all done here in this garage. The biggest thing for Playerz Club is to prove, not only to prove, but to show you guys and help you guys get your build to the next level using tools that you can go out and buy your own, whether it's on eBay or on the internet somewhere, a tool truck that comes to your place of business, any of that good stuff. We're just here to basically show you it can be done, no problem. That's pretty much it. We thank you guys so much for everything, everything you guys do for us, all the compliments that we get on our builds. You guys are excited for the YouTube channel, and I'm glad that we're finally getting started and we're doing all the filming and editing. And that's pretty much it. From here, we'll move on to the builds, and we'll talk to a couple of the guys, and you guys get to meet some of the rest of the team. So we'll talk to you soon.
Hey guys, my name is Nick Rodriguez. This is my 98 Civic Coupe. Been piecing this thing together for about 4 years now. It started off really simple as like a B20 VTEC. Wanted to daily drive and just beat up on it. And it's evolved into a fully built K24 swap car. Jackson Racing supercharger. Just a bunch of quality parts are going on this thing. So I'll be telling you more about it. So as far as the engine bay goes here, we're going to be shaving the whole engine bay. All the holes are going to be covered, except for maybe a few holes where my cables are obviously going to be running through, my brake lines are going to be coming through the firewall, and then I'll have a brand new Chase Bay's tucked wiring harness that's going to be coming through here. They stopped making wiring harnesses, so I'm pretty excited that I still have a hold of one of those, brand new in the box. We swapped out the subframe for an EG subframe. It's supposed to work better. Then the EK with the axles. So got all that done. We're going to be doing a J-Blood front bumper on this thing with the integrated carbon fiber lip at the bottom. It's probably one of my favorite bumpers that I've seen on these cars, so I'm super excited I got that. Next is, wheels. I've got wheels ordered. I've got some Workmeister CRO ones that are going to go on here, 15x8. The way the color scheme goes, I think they're going to look really good. As far as brakes go, it's going to be a four piston, maybe a 6-piston caliper. So undecided on that. Got a lot of body work that we've done already on this thing. This was the roughest car out of all the cars that we had bought, and so I've got the quarter panels, the roof. They had to do some work on the inside of the roof as well. So this thing was in rough shape. We're just trying to bring it back. If we look inside here, it's pretty much gutted. There's not much left in here at all. It's all going to be shaved as well. More than likely all the holes are going to be covered. We're going to have a chase bays proportioning valve in here. It's going to be, taking care of the brakes for me. I'm going to have hard lines running to that. Christian, one of our good buddies, welded in this cage. He did an exceptional job on it. Came out better than I expected. He just did a really good job lining it all up. It's measured pretty well. So if we move to the back over here, this is something that stands out. Not too many people do this either. We've got the deck lid back here for the speakers all cut out. So it really opens up the back window. You can really see the cage, makes it really exciting. It's going to look really awesome. I've seen a few cars like that, so this will just make one more. We're going to do a quick release trunk. I've got some quick release latches that came in. Suspension wise, I haven't bolted any of that stuff up yet. I've got dozens of parts laying around here at my buddy's house, some at home as well, that we just haven't bolted on. We haven't cleaned up the car enough yet to put them on. So we just got to wait for that stuff to come along. And then one of my favorite parts right now is this engine. Jesus really talked to me about getting this thing painted. I had to paint it like a really ugly battleship gray from a rattle can, and I thought it looked good, but he started showing me pictures of other cars that we'd seen at other shows and pointing them out to me, and they just looked a lot better than what I had going on. So we stripped all that paint off and we repainted it with automotive paint. It looks pretty awesome if you ask me. We got Skunk 2 headers on here, Jackson Racing supercharger, Skunk 2 rods, Arius pistons, has the RSX Type S oil pump in it. I think I'm going to get a sump probably. I'm sorry, not the sump, but the baffle put in the oil pan. We got a bunch of hybrid goodies going on here that I'm really excited about. There's a lot of chrome. This thing's coming out really nice, so you guys just keep following us and let us show you what we're doing.
Hello, my name is Jose Valdez, and this is my 1997 Honda Civic hatchback. I originally got it about 2 years ago. I got it from California. It had originally had an H series in it, but I ended up having some issues with it. So we decided to swap it into the V20V. Well, it was actually going to be a swap, but ended up turning into this. So now it's a full-on build. So I originally got into the Honda scene because of my brother Kevin. When he first got his little EG hatch, I used to always cruise around with him, go to meets, just hang out. So that's what got me into it. I originally got a 91 Civic EF, which was my first car, and then ended up selling that and got this, the 97 Civic hatchback. I'm gonna give you guys a little walk around of the hatch. Starting off, we're gonna have the C West front bumper. We're gonna run the C West kit all the way around with side skirts and the rear bumper. We also have the J's Racing side fenders. Then coming along to the engine bay, well, we all have at least 150 hours of work put into here. I want to give a huge shout out to ODB Welding Works for giving us the shock towers and all the plug plates to cover all the unnecessary holes. And also a huge shout out to Vasile Garage for coming down and helping us perfect this bay, showing us how it's done and teaching us a lot of things that we didn't even know. So we still have more time to put into the bay. We have to hit up a couple spots that we kind of think needs a little bit more work, but other than that, came out great. We're going to also run the Hasport mortar mounts on the car and the Woodwood brake booster delete. So the motor that we're going to run is going to be the B20V. At the moment it has the low catch billet valve cover with the Edelbrock intake manifold, skunk tooth throttle body, and the AEM fuel rail. And it's all bolted down by Downstar hardware. On this side we also got the Total Racing cam gears that we got from ICB Motorsports, and also chrome Downstar hardware. And then we also have the RCG belt tensioner on this side. For wheels, I'm not really sure where we're going to be running it, but I do know we're going to be doing the 5-lug conversion, which we already have thanks to AZ Part Out. We got a really good deal on it, so that's already going to be done. If you come along this way in the interior, we've done a lot of work in the interior as well, which we've gone and took all the seam sealer off, all the unnecessary things we didn't do. And then coming along to the back side, then here we're gonna rock the bottom of the rack. We're gonna get different LCAs, different suspension. We're gonna run the big spar and a different exhaust.
Alright everyone, as I mentioned, my name is Jesus Castro. I'm one of the two Playerz Club founders here. A little quick backstory about myself before we jump into the car. I kind of got into the whole Honda world a little bit by accident. I was building a Chevy Cobalt, ironically, doing a turbo kit on it, and I ended up seeing this 1991 Honda Civic Si for sale. An elderly woman was actually selling it, and I was told that the timing belt busted and the car wouldn't run. So I ended up picking it up for $1,000. I knew the car was extremely clean. I mean, it was all original, had some cheesy wheels and a cheesy aftermarket radio. But I picked it up, I took it to the shop. I actually ended up putting a 12-volt battery in it, and the car fired right up. And from there, I literally drove it for, I think, 2 years. No issues at all. The distributor caught fire on me one time on the way back from Thanksgiving, visiting my family, but other than that, like, it didn't have a timing belt problem. They also told me the car was overheating. The car never overheated once on me. So I was very fortunate actually to pick this car up. So after the 2 years of driving the car, the more and more I started loving it and really, I guess, admiring the quality of the Honda product and definitely loving the miles per gallon. So what I ended up doing was I started researching Honda parts, researching Honda builds, things of that nature, and I came across Sticky Dill Joe. And as soon as I clicked on his website, I was immediately hooked to the Honda world. It didn't take much. All I started doing was reading what Sticky Dill Joe, or as you guys know, it's Joey Lee. I just started really reading what he was describing, what he was talking about, and then from there, reading his vlogs, reading his posts, I ended up seeing Downstar. Downstar was one of the pretty much first, I guess, quality products that I saw rolling around the Honda world. And when I saw what Frank Downstar was doing with just bolts, I knew that there was a market for detail within the Honda community. Keep in mind, I grew up with my dad, putting together hot rods, muscle cars, trucks, and a lot of details went into those things. But there was always a lot of products out there for those cars, right? There was always cool things that were always dipped in chrome, just straight from the manufacturer. Bolts, I remember bolts always being a package deal you can always buy, like on Summit Racing and Jegs. I did not expect the Honda world to be just like, if not better, than the muscle car industry, the lifted truck industry, and the mini truck industry. So once I started reading and researching again about Downstar, again, the more and more I kept getting hooked to the Honda world. Well, from there, I ended up catching Rywire. Rywire has probably been one of the biggest inspirations for me because of his work. The things that he does, it's very straight to the point and clean. And the more I started reading up about Ryan and reading up on his products, not even just the wiring, but everything else that came with his name, I knew from that point on that I was going to build myself this Honda. And from the get-go, I knew I was going to do a ground-up build with an extreme amount of detail. Everything that I learned from a kid with my dad growing up, again in the muscle car and truck industry, I knew that I was going to be able to really bring all of that knowledge as a kid, and then what I've learned now as far as an adult, I bring everything to this build. Now keep in mind, one of the things that has always stuck in me mentally was growing up in the south side of Tucson. Lifted trucks and lowriders were always around. They were everywhere, from chrome to gold dip to engraving, you name it. Everything that just screams quality and show car always had my attention, and you're going to see a lot of that on my final product here. As a lot of you guys have already seen the car, you can already see the details developing, and I'm not necessarily doing it to, I guess, I can't really describe it. It's more, I'm doing it to show what you guys can actually do in the Honda industry, because I feel like in the Honda world, there's a lot of shortcuts. People take a lot of shortcuts. People go directly to slamming the car and putting wheels and all these, so-called fake parts in their car. My ultimate goal as far as building this car is to really show you guys how far you can really take a Honda build. So from here, we'll do a walk around about the car, and I'll describe a little bit to you guys about the ultimate plan and what we're doing to it. And I hope it inspires you guys to take your car, take your build to the next level. To me, it's not about the rare parts, it's about the custom parts, and that's what you're going to see a lot on this build. So I say let's get started. Let's do a quick walk around the car, and we'll go from there. To be honest with you, one of the biggest things that bug me about a show car is some of them don't run. Now to me, a show car should not only be a show car, it should actually run at the same time. So I didn't want to just slap a motor in this car. So yes, of course, from the exterior it looks like another K-swap or another K-series motor, but this is actually a full stroker. It's a full stroker motor. It's a K24A bottom end. It's a 13.5-to-1 compression with a fully built cylinder head. We're going to run a VTEC killer system. One of the biggest things that I've always been a fan of, this is going to be my third car with it, nitrous. Nitrous has always been a favorite forced induction of mine. I love the turbos, I love the superchargers, but nothing to me feels like a nitrous car. So as you can see here, we have the K-tune center feed intake manifold, but when you take a look, we're going to be doing a full direct port nitrous system. It is going to be a wet system. The first stage is we're planning on doing a 200 shot, and then we eventually end with a 100 shot on the second stage. Once all the tuning and all that gets done, of course we'll get into more detail of how that's all going to function. But keeping this a show car with a lot of power, of course, tucking and keeping things clean is of course a big leap that we're going to have to take, because we're going to be adding a lot of lines. Of course, we got nitrous, we got fuel, we got clutch. So everything that's going to be going to this motor is going to be all hard lines. Of course, minimizing lines inside the engine bay as much as possible is the ultimate goal. Of course, we got the Rywire tucked radiator. We're also going to be doing AN fittings with hoses on that. Of course, Downstar hardware everywhere. Like I said, the guys that brought me into the Honda world. They don't even know it. Like I said, Joey Lee, Ryan, Frank, everything I've learned from them and everything I've seen from them is going to be in this build. So even just a quick idea about the Downstar bolts, as you can kind of see here, we're going to be doing, everything's going to be chrome dipped. Every single bolt's going to be chrome dipped, as you guys can see here. We're not going to take any shortcuts as far as that goes. So again, all chrome dipped Downstar hardware. There's going to be varies of chrome dip parts throughout the whole motor, throughout the whole interior undercarriage of the car. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much about it. We're going to do a custom one-off header. It is going to be a hood exit. That's kind of one of the things I'm excited to see. And I guess that's pretty much about it. That is a fully built transmission. It does have a LSD in it. Passport motor mounts, of course. We got the one-off subframe here from Whitfield Manufacturing. They did a good job of getting that all tubular subframe all dialed in for us. We are going to run an electric water pump. We'll move over to, I guess, with all the power, we got to have some stopping power, right? So we're going to be running the 6-piston Willwood up front, and then we're going to actually run a 4-piston out rear. Now this 6-piston setup is specific to the Honda chassis. The 4-piston out back is going to be a custom setup. Willwood pretty much already sent everything over that we need to run the rear setup. Now from there, we just got to basically run a custom bracket to mount to the trailing arm. From there, we'll move over to the interior. We got the PCI seat brackets. Of course, like I said, chrome dipped. We got the Downstar hardware. Of course, we're missing some Downstar hardware throughout the car, but the car's not completed yet. We have the brand new Willwood staging brake. We got already that mounted. We got the K-tune shifter. But one of the biggest things here is the custom one-off billet base. This is 100% one-off to this car. We had the 2 passengers sitting in the car. We want to make sure that we could fit 2 seats in the car and not leave, and well, actually basically leave a lot of room for the passenger to sit and still be able to use the staging brake. So that is a one-off piece. Thanks to American Billet for helping me with the design and coming up with that. Moving right along to the back side of the interior, there's gonna be a lot of magic happening back here. As you can already see, one of the biggest things is all the paneling. Big thank you to Tray 5 Customs. These guys did one heck of a job getting all of the panels done for me here. Now they're not done yet, guys. They still do have to finalize the backside. The door panels are all going to be matching this, and then it's going to eventually flow into the custom one-off dash. So we jumped into this rear part. Tray 5, they're a really busy shop. They do specialize in a lot of they do everything pretty much. They do a lot of custom work, but they're always busy with SEMA vehicles. So they were able to sneak this car in, thankfully. They got us the backside all done so we could start running the fuel lines and nitrous lines, because we couldn't move forward until we had these panels in. So very thankful for those guys to step up. They handled this within a week. They did a killer job. Again, thank you again, Tray 5. Of course, we'll be seeing a ton of them in the future as we start prepping for SEMA 2019. So again, talking about I guess inspirations. Again, Ryan from Rywire. One of the biggest inspirations, of course, as everybody knows, is his orange Integra. He ran the Nuke fuel system in that car, and I had nothing to do. I had no idea about Nuke until Ryan put that in his Integra, and I'm very happy that he did, because now I'm stuck. I love the Nuke product. It's beautiful. So that's what we're running there. We got the Nuke system. We're going to be running 2 Bosch 044 pumps to feed the K24. Of course, a ton of nitrous, as I mentioned to you guys, is going to be going into that motor. So we have the 2 10-pound bottles from Nitrous Outlet. Again, you know, running a 200 and a 100 shot, which of course equals 3. We're going to be squeezing a lot of juice out of these bottles pretty quick. So the 2 10-pounds should do it for a few passes at the track, and that'll be good. I'm excited for that. There's no better feeling than a nitrous car. There's no better feeling. That's just mark my word. From there, we'll talk a little bit about the body. Guys, when it comes down to details, this is what I'm talking about. As you can see here, we already started getting the metal down. You see all these little, I guess, spot welds, as you can call it. All that's getting eliminated. This is going to be seen when the car is finished, as well as a lot of other pieces to the exterior. And I don't like it. It just doesn't look clean. It doesn't look smooth. That's what we're getting rid of. So as you can see, we already got some of the metal taken off. Eventually, we're going to hit it with body filler. We're going to sand it all down, get it all primered, and that goes throughout the whole vehicle. As you can kind of see up here, we have marks as far as there's spot welds under here, under all these marks, and all that stuff's coming off. You can see it throughout the whole interior as well. And then even the undercarriage is actually all marked up too. We're eliminating every single useless hole on this car. If there's a hole that doesn't have a bolt going through it, or doesn't have a wiring harness going through it, or a hard line, it's out. We're going to eliminate all that. The whole undercarriage is going to be body worked. Big thank you to Frank at Eye Candy Paintworks. I kind of talked to him about my ultimate goal about the car and what we wanted to do and how detailed we really wanted to get, and he helped me take it to another level because he started describing certain things about the car that we can basically adjust to make this car just another level higher than what I actually wanted. And this is one of them. Getting rid of all these spot welds. The whole undercarriage, like I say, is going to be body worked with the shaved engine bay. As what you guys are used to seeing a shaved engine bay in the Honda industry, that's exactly what we're going to apply to the undercarriage. We're going to be taking all unnecessary plates off, exhaust hangers, holes, body working the whole thing. Actually, the next process for this car is to completely get taken down, back down to the bare shell. We're going to put it on a rotisserie, and that's where all the magic's going to happen. So I guess that's pretty much about it about what we got going on here. We'll actually go in the undercarriage here, and we'll take some videos and show you guys the amazing work by Tray 5 and Eye Candy, what they've already done to the bottom side of this car as far as paint and fabrication goes. We're going to keep it real simple back here as far as suspension goes. When I started getting into the Honda world, I love the look of the Function 7 control arms. That's what we're going to keep. Just to keep it simple, to keep it to the point. And K-tune suspension all the way around. Coilovers, we got the tie rod ends, camber kits. Big thank you to K-tune for sending all that stuff over to us. Great product, and we love using them on pretty much a lot of our vehicles that we have here. So moving on to the undercarriage, as you can see, all the undercoating on the car has already been completely eliminated. We took it over to a media blaster after the car was put all the way down to just a bare shell. The media blaster got it up in the air, and he just basically went to work and just took care of all of the undercarriage, all the sound deadening basically. So all that's clear. Now that it's all bare, what we're going to do is every single spot weld on this car, again, every unnecessary hole that you see on the undercarriage of this car is all going to be smooth, welded shut, and there's basically going to be no transition between all the metal sheets. The ultimate goal is to make everything just one solid piece. Very smooth, very clean, and then of course color match to the car, which is going to be white. From there, obviously we already kind of briefly went over the 6-piston Willwood brake system. We got the K-tune Street K1 shocks, the K-tune camber kits, of course, all bolted down with all Downstar hardware. Again, everything's going to be chrome dipped as far as Downstar hardware goes. One of the biggest, I guess, small details is you can actually see these lower control arms here. These are the factory lower control arms. We did press in hard raised bushings into them, but they're actually all smooth. They've been body worked, they've been smooth, and they've been color matched to the K-tune upper control arms and the K-tune tie rod ends. So now everything is all matching. We got the spindles that have been painted the maroon color that I chose for one of the colors of the vehicle, and that's pretty much about it. I mean, we'll work our way over to the rear, which is pretty much somewhat of the same concept. So back here, again, Frank from Eye Candy Paintworks, who I'm basically blessed with, that's going to be putting in all the bodywork and paint into this vehicle. The trailing arms alone, I mean, honestly, I don't think that a video is going to do these control or trailing arms justice. Of course, again, painted the maroon color that we chose, but if you look closely, these trailing arms actually took a different shape. And what I mean by that is, if you look at your trailing arms on, you know, your Integra, your Civic, there's a lot of brackets and a lot of holes on these trailing arms from the factory. Well, we eliminated everything. Of course, everything got bodywork from there and all smooth, but there's no extra brackets, there's no unnecessary holes. Everything is completely gone. Back, front, it's completely smooth and shaped, just like how you see it up front here. Again, we got the K-Tune suspension, we got the extended ARP studs, everything's all bolted down with Downstar hardware. As you can see in the rear, we started doing the spot or stitch welding basically. The whole vehicle is going to get stitch weld, by the way. This is going to give us more stability, more control, and it's actually also going to help with the shaving and the bodywork process of smoothing everything out. So that's what's going on back here. Now, if you step back just a little bit further, we can get underneath the car. The 5-gallon FCS fuel cell sitting back there, all mounted with a one-off custom fuel cell bracket, basically built by Tray 5 Customs. Again, big thank you to Tray 5 Customs. If it wasn't for Frank from Eye Candy, I never would have really been in touch with those guys or even considered them. But these guys do phenomenal work. They're in magazines, you know, every truck magazine you could think of. They're in car magazines. They're everywhere. Between those two guys, we got one killer combo of people to put their time and effort into this car, and we're definitely excited for SEMA 2019 to get this thing there.